We continue our video series on the importance and impact of relationships and how they affect B2B sales and account performance. In this video, Ed Wallace of AchieveNEXT and I discuss the differences in perspectives between senior and middle-level client executives. One is strategic and the other is tactical. While communicating with both levels is very important, it is essential to understand the differences in their thinking so you can ask the right questions and have the appropriate discussions.
Our data reveals that relationships enable companies to proactively share ideas and demonstrate their subject matter expertise to client executives. When relationships do not exist, competitors have the opportunity to seize the initiative to build relationships. And we see this all of the time in at-risk accounts. Ed, if you were to select the two most effective ways to build genuine relationships that last, what would they be?
Well, let me count the ways, Rick. If I had to prioritize the top two, first thing I would do is think about what I call decision maker persona of the individual we're working with. And let's just use procurement. You've got a procurement manager, you've got a procurement director, you might have a VP of supply chain, you might, whatever. Each of those, what I call decision maker personas, could be an influencer persona, but let's just go with decision maker for now. They have different goals that they're trying to accomplish. So the goal of the manager is generally different than the goal of the VP. But I'm talking to the manager today. So what goals and struggles, we talked about relational GPS last time. I'm going to drop the P for passions because we're preparing to have a conversation with the procurement manager. What are some goals and struggles that should be on their desk that we can help that person with? Once we do that little template on a few of those goals and struggles, what discovery questions am I going to ask that procurement manager? They're going to start building credibility for me and not the person looking to make a sale. And I have two, what I call $100 questions for you, Rick, and for your audience, okay? The first $100 question is, how's the current business environment impacting things around here, around your company? I love that question, not only because I invented it, or I think I invented it, or I'm claiming I invented it. You can ask that in inflationary times, recession times, great times, neutral times. The business environment is generic. That person's probably going to say, oh my gosh, let me tell you what's going on. And then you ask what I call the three big baby questions. First one is why? They're going to talk some more. The second one is, can you tell me more? The third one is there anything else? So one question, you probably located a ton of GPS. You know, Rick, and I'm asking you this rhetorically, right? You know, Rick, a lot of stuff's been going on in the last 6 to 18 months. But as you look back on the department that you run here and your business, what do you think are the 2 or 3 things that you're the most proud of, or that are your top achievements? It's a good chance Rick is going to give you some great information.
That's a great question.
That's the $200 question, okay? Right. So you want to start them off positive. It's not a manipulation if you're sincere and you want to learn about their business, right? Versus, well, how can we help you? I love that question. How can we help? They're just meeting you. How can we help you? Well, they don't know anything about you. You haven't asked one question that gives them any indication of any expertise that you have. But if you ask them about their accomplishments, you ask the big baby questions. Why? Can you tell me more? Is there anything else? And then you can ask this. What do you think might slow you down? There's the what's keeping you up at night question in the context of a very positive experience for that customer. We call what I just described a targeted conversation. It's aligning the questions with the persona. There'd be different questions for the VP of procurement than there is for the manager of procurement. You want to ask the big baby questions around some of those opening questions, and you'll have your own discovery questions that you can go to all the time. And then you're going to locate GPS about the person, and you're going to have a chance at some point to possibly share a value statement.
Well, it's interesting, Ed, you mentioned that we're in the business of asking questions, and we are. And we ask the same questions to all the executives we interview at a given account. And it's fascinating to see the differences in the answers by the level of executives. When we're in the leadership level, you get very strategic answers. Sometimes they're shorter, but you get that big picture. And when you ask that same question to middle level executives, you get a lot of details at the tactical level. You need to know it all. You need to hear it all. But it's fascinating to see the different textures to the answers to the same questions. But what you demonstrate is that by asking the right questions, the way you're positioning those questions and listening and reacting, you're building that genuine relationship.